So let's talk about a really pivotal moment. Back in April 1980, Sun Myung Moon gets up and gives this speech, and it basically changes everything for his followers. He says, okay, one era is over, and then lays out this brand new super high-stakes mission. We're going to break down exactly what happened in that moment, what's known as the Home Church Declaration.
And this quote, this really gets to the heart of the whole thing. I have walked such an arduous and incredibly difficult path. Now it is your turn. Whoa. I mean, that's not just a statement, right? It's a declaration. He's saying, I'm done, but he's also passing on this massive, massive responsibility. After all these years of what he calls this lonely struggle, the torch is officially being passed. So the big question is, what exactly was this path he claimed to have finished?
All right, so first up, he kicks off the speech with this huge announcement. He says that he and his wife, who followers know as the true parents, have just wrapped up a 21-year course. And this wasn't just any old course. He saw it as this critical mission to pay off a kind of spiritual debt, what's called indemnity, not just for himself, but for all of humanity. And he didn't just pull this 21-year number out of thin air. He breaks it down into 3 specific 7-year stages. You've got the formation stage, then the growth stage, and finally, the perfection stage. He paints this picture of those 2 decades as this incredibly lonely, sacrificial journey where literally everyone was against him. And the whole point of it all? To set a condition for God, but on a worldwide scale.
So, perfection. That's a big word, right? What does he actually mean by that? Well, according to him, it's a state where Satan has absolutely no way to get in, no way to infiltrate his life. He's declaring this total, absolute victory. A victory so complete that no person, no country, not even the whole world could come along and mess it up.
Okay, so with his own massive 21-year mission now in the rearview mirror, Moon makes the big shift. He announces that the responsibility is moving. It's no longer on him, it's now on his followers, the people they call the blessed couples. And this is where the generational plan really comes into focus. Step 1, the True Parents course, done, finished. Now step 2 begins. A 7-year course for all the blessed couples. And here's the kicker. If they can succeed, then their kids, the 3rd generation, get to be totally liberated. They won't have to walk this same path of suffering. And he makes a point to draw this really sharp contrast between his path and theirs. Think about it. He's saying, my course was worldwide, I was totally alone, I faced opposition from everyone for 21 long years. But for his followers, he says their path is totally different. Their world is just 360 homes. The tough foundation work? Already done for them. And their course is only 7 years. He tells them straight up, you are in an infinitely better position.
Okay, so this brings us to the real nuts and bolts of the new mission. What is the actual task? Well, every single blessed couple is given a very specific job, something he calls the home church providence. And it all boils down to one number, 360. That's it. Each couple gets a specific area and is responsible for exactly 360 homes. For the next 7 years, that little neighborhood, that's their entire world.
So what is home church, really? He defines it as the follower's own personal territory for paying that spiritual indemnity we talked about. It's like he set this condition on a global, macro level, and now they have to do the exact same thing, but on a micro level, just within their 360 homes. It's their own little miniature version of the world.
And the purpose here is, well, it's huge. It's not just about knocking on doors. On a personal level, it's about paying off your own spiritual debt. And maybe most importantly, it's about making sure your kids don't have to inherit that same burden. But it gets bigger. It's also about winning over the spirit world, winning God's heart and love. And, just building the actual foundation for the kingdom of heaven on earth. No big deal, right?
And to really hammer home just how important this is, he ties it directly back to the Bible. He says, you know how Jesus gave the key to the kingdom to Peter? Well, home church is that key. He's literally calling it the modern-day key to heaven, the thing that will finally fulfill what Jesus wanted to do.
So the mission is laid out. It's clear, but then the tone of the speech shifts. It gets really serious, because now he starts talking about the consequences. He presents this incredibly stark choice, 2 completely different futures that hinge on one single thing, whether they succeed or fail.
So you have to ask, what was actually at stake here? I mean, really? And the speech is, well, it's brutally clear about the price of failure. What would happen if they didn't
or couldn't get this job done in the 7 years they were given.
The two paths couldn't be more different. On one hand, success. Your children are free from suffering. You help build the kingdom of heaven. You get a lifetime of joy and celebration. Your family is literally registered in heaven. Sounds pretty good. But on the other hand, failure. Your children inherit your suffering. You face accusation from God and from the true parents. And maybe worst of all, you face accusation from your own children. And then there's this chilling line from Moon himself, there will be little room for forgiveness.
And he makes it crystal clear, there are no excuses, no way out. Because their path was made so much easier than his, because that foundation was already laid for them, he says, don't come crying to me if you fail. He warns that they can expect zero sympathy from him or even from God if they can't handle this much, much smaller task.
So as he's wrapping up, he frames this whole thing as, well, as a monumental moment in history, something that can't be taken back or changed. He's not just giving out a to-do list. He's making a final, binding declaration for the ages. And he really cements the permanence of it with this line. He says, through this microphone, everything will be recorded for history. It is an historic declaration. Basically, what's being said right now is getting locked in. There's no turning back. The command has been given.
So, just imagine being a follower in that room in 1980. This speech it's everything. It's an incredible opportunity, but it's also this monumental burden. The era of their parents' suffering has just been declared over, but their own 7-year tribulation, it had just begun. And the one question hanging in the air for every single one of them was, what were they going to do with this key to heaven that had just been dropped right into their hands?